We're back in Abu Dhabi a lot earlier in the year than we're used to. McLaren look to be on fire as they come into this weekend. I spoke to Zach Brown yesterday and he said they have finally found the sweet spot and are looking forward to the coming races.
All right, thanks Ted. Now let's head down to the paddock and get ready for the start of...
Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our F1 23 driver career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are here back in the Middle East for Abu Dhabi, under the lights racing here, coming your way as we are here way earlier in the season than we usually are. Of course, Abu Dhabi, even with the custom schedule mod, we've been still having this race towards the tail end of the season, but as you guys know, season 6 took a big abrupt change in the calendar, which has brought Abu Dhabi significantly earlier in the season. If you're wondering maybe why I haven't been showing any of the R&D stuff recently as well, there has literally been no change in the R&D performance from the beginning of the season to this point now. But yeah, we focus in on the weekend ahead here now at practice, qualifying, etc. now, man. We're fresh off of Aiden Jackson getting his second win of the season, increasing his point lead in the championship now as McLaren Toyota have won the last few Grand Prix, with Jackson Albon as well getting a win. So they are starting to kind of find their forte, you could say, in these recent episodes now, and I'm hopeful that we can maybe come back at them strong here tonight. I had to make 2 laps here. In Q1 I invalidated my lap time in the first lap, but second lap would be a little bit better and put us in P8, while it was a Mercedes 1-2 with Russell and Lando Norris. Esteban Ocon, Marino Sato, Frederick Vesti, Zhou Guan Yu and Yuri Vips at the bottom of the grid. Both Williams, Lamborghini, and Lotus not looking very, very strong at all here now as we roll through into Q2, and it was an okay session here now, actually. As you can see us rolling through now this third and final sector. It was a decent lap. It wasn't anything special. I didn't feel like it was, the best that I could do. But we cross the stripe and we go P7, and that would be enough to get us through. As you can see, a big surprise, however. Look at this. Jack Doohan knocks Max Verstappen for Ferrari out in Q2. Calimere there in P12, but Verstappen not going to be thrilled with that one now as we roll through now into Q3, looking for a one and done kind of lap here now, as everybody had already made their laps. Doing P9, Leclerc and Piastri there 8th and 7th, with Hamilton P6. Last episode he announced he is retiring from Formula 1, and the same episode he had a mechanical failure and retired from the race. But overall here, I was very happy with how this lap was looking here, really able to get on the gas pedal quite hard and just throttle up and find the grip that I needed here now as we come through the final few corners here in Sector 3. What is it going to be on the timing board as we come through the final turn, down the front straightaway, hard on the gas to the line? P6 is where we will start in Abu Dhabi. I did try to make a second lap, but I did not find any time. Norris on pole, and you're going to see it's McLaren and Mercedes taking up the first 2 rows of Norris, Jackson, Russell, Albon, then the pair of Red Bulls. Let's head to the grid.
It's time then for one final race in this year's Formula 1 World Championship. 2010 saw 4 drivers in contention for the title coming into this race, with Sebastian Vettel prevailing to become the youngest world champion to date. Is there one last sting in the tail awaiting us today? Well, it's time to find out here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We have 16 corners here at Yas Marina circuit, 7 to the right and 9 to the left. It's a total lap distance of 3.28 miles, 2 long straights and overtaking opportunities throughout the lap. We expect average speeds of around 123 miles per hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and it's Aiden Jackson alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Albon, Golden Boy, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Doohan, Verstappen, Mayer, Gasly, Russell, Liam Lawson, Tsunoda, Drugovich, Ocon, Sato, Vesti, Zhou, and Yuri Vips. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
We're ready to roll here now, and grid penalties puts us up to row number 2, P4, going from softs to mediums here, under the lights, starting in the sunset. Let's get ready to roll.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
Immediately, you have to wonder if we've made a mistake. Only 4 cars on softs. Norris, myself, my teammate Dragovic as well as Esteban Ocon. This could get a little bit interesting as the majority are on mediums.
So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. The question I'm asking is which teams have got it right, which ones have got it horribly wrong?
All right, mate, get the elbows out here. We need to split the McLarens.
Yep, 10-4. I'll get after it here in turn 1. Try to get him. You hear Mark on the radio right there just saying, hey, we need to try and split these McLarens up. We saw the grid penalties, specifically Dragovic as well as George Russell in the Mercedes. So unfortunate there as we are ready to roll here from Abu Dhabi now from 4th place on the grid. What can we do? Lewis Hamilton right there behind us with Oscar Piastri, Leclerc trailing, and it's going to be 5 red lights, and Abu Dhabi is underway now as the lights are out, and it's a slow start from Alex Albon and Jackson as well, but he's going to cover us off well into turn 1, wheel to wheel here with Albon as we exit the first corner. He banks out of it. They're actually almost reserved from Albon right there. I mean, he had the space to keep going, but he backed out of it, and as well, he loses out to Lewis Hamilton, who's going to move through into the 4th position, and just behind there's Oscar Piastri as well settling in, and then you got Leclerc mixed in between both of the Connor Sport machines in the background, the Connor Sport McLarens that is. Now I keep forgetting to bring up the McLaren partnership with that team here now as Hamilton's going to settle in just behind myself up front. It's Lando Norris now trying to get himself back in form in this championship hunt. Mercedes has kind of faded in these last few Grand Prix, and they really need to step it back up, and kind of Red Bull as well. I mean, really, McLaren just kind of come in the last 3 races and have taken over as we have continued to fade in towards the 2nd and 3rd best teams with Red Bull and Mercedes. Dragovic there just in front of George Russell, who's getting past one of the Andretti machines, but we settle into P3, and the question is, have myself and Lando Norris, Dragovic, have we all made mistakes going onto the soft tires to start this Grand Prix? I mean, the majority of the field has gone mediums. You see this, usually a few times per season where the mediums are actually the better tire to start on compared to the softs. You don't really necessarily know what track it's going to be. It's not like a track dependent thing. It just kind of seems to randomly happen, and I feel like we might be seeing that today, and I was immediately struggling to keep up with Jackson and Lando Norris in these opening laps. Abu Dhabi is in that, group of 5 or so tracks that I've never been the strongest at, so I wasn't really surprised by the lack of pace in these early moments, and I was actually quite pleased running P3 here in Abu Dhabi in these opening moments. Now, Lewis Hamilton still trying to put some pressure on us. Albon's as well, trying to run him down and get back up into the 4th position, but I really wanted to split the McLarens there after Mark as well mentioned it to us, because we need to think about how quick they are right now. And speaking of how quick they are, there you go, Jackson to the lead, and I think that answers our question about were the softs the right choice, and I think no, because the mediums are prevailing. Jackson to the front, and Norris had such a horrific chicane that I'm able to go through and take the 2nd position, but hold on, here comes Lewis Hamilton, and he's going to breeze past Norris. He'll clear him into the hairpin as well, so Hamilton through into 3rd, and it wasn't long. I have no DRS on that long straightaway again, and now Hamilton's going to be able to put up a move here against myself here on the inside into the chicane, so through goes Hamilton. Now a lot less dramatic than the last time we heard that from, say, Crofty, but however, a poor chicane. We're going to fight back here now. DRS open again, this time Hamilton no DRS. Jackson loves everything he sees. We do not want to see the McLaren drive off in the distance here, but we would get back past Lewis, but same situation on lap 8 here, but this time Norris into the mix as well. Up the inside he goes. He'll take the position as we're going to continue this fight. He humps over the curbing. We look over to the left side, wheel to wheel on the exit. Thank you very much. I'll take the position right back. But again, now coming towards the end of into the hairpin, Hamilton, just like last time, will sweep past Norris, and he will move back into 3rd place, and it wasn't over. Now coming to lap 9, same situation, and I was getting a little bit tired of this. Mark's going to come over the radio and give us some info.
Okay, just stay put behind Hamilton. It's costing us time fighting. We need to keep Jackson within reach.
You hear the message there, and we're going to follow this one because I think it really is the best option. So I would settle in behind Hamilton immediately. The gap was not really growing too much anymore to Jackson. However, we weren't really closing. That was the problem. But, you know, I wasn't closing when I was out in front of Hamilton either. So, yeah, we would stay put and we would lose a little bit of time. But at the end of lap 12, our pit window is already open here on the soft, so both myself and Norris, who had also now gotten passed by Albon, is going to come join me in the pit lane here. So definitely soft tire start, not the way to go. And you have to wonder, are the mediums going to be the way to go here, or should we be on the hards? I mean, it's kind of an awkward situation that both myself and Norris have found ourselves in here now, and Drugovich is going to be in the same deal here in a few moments' time. He'll be pitting at the end, likely, of lap 13, and Drugovich and Russell both have been doing a good job moving forward through the traffic. They're up towards the top 10 now. As you can see, though, on the straightaway, I mean, look at this. Lando Norris going to absolutely dominate me here on that top end speed with the DRS assistance. He's going to move through and take the position. Right now, we are probably fighting for the net lead because those drivers on mediums are going to be going for a while yet here. So we're going to be making up a lot of ground. And you see Drugovich has made his pit stop there, so he will be settling in on those mediums and just try to make up as much ground as he can as we are following Norris through. Now pit stops kicking off for the drivers on mediums. Albon's in for a new set of hard tires. Jack Doohan as well as Lewis Hamilton in. And a lap later, here comes Aiden Jackson. So he's going to come out on those hards. And he stayed out, of course, a few laps longer. Piastri's coming in. But watch this. Norris, who sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and myself, we're both going to get out in front of Aiden Jackson here. And you look at the track map, Albon's just rolling through turn 1 now. So it's a Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Oscar Piastri currently rounding out the top 5. We come through to lap 17, and now yellow flags in sector 3, and it's a Ferrari again. 3 consecutive Grand Prix, and it's Verstappen again.
This I'm done. If this happens again, I'm leaving by the summer break.
And you hear the frustration, Verstappen right there saying, if this keeps up by the summer break, I'm gone. And we are not far from the summer break. Could Ferrari lose one of their drivers by the mid-season, and one of the greatest of all time, of course, and certainly the greatest of this generation, of Max Verstappen, who would probably go elsewhere from Formula One? He's been talking about, of course, wanting to adventure out and try other types of racing. We're going to have to pay very close attention, and we already know Lewis Hamilton leaving at the end of the season, retiring from Formula One. But now we're going to go through the grid as Aiden Jackson has run down both myself and Lando Norris.
Lando Norris out in front, but he's got Aiden Jackson to worry about as Jackson is hot on Owen's rear wing, headed towards the hairpin.
Look at this, Crofty. Owen's pulling over, I think, to try and get DRS on Jackson. There's so much pace in that McLaren right now, however, that I don't think it is going to work.
You see the gap there, and that is far too much for Owen to make up, even with the DRS. So he will have to settle into third and try to remain with Jackson so he can strike on Norris. And Ted Kravtiz is down in the pit lane. Ted, what can you share with us?
Yeah, guys, just wanted to touch on Drugovich and Russell. Both drivers hit with grid penalties this weekend, and they have both done a nice job driving back through the grid without any safety car help. Also, Max Verstappen was livid when he got back to the paddock, and from what I am hearing is he and some Ferrari members are in a meeting as we speak. Ferrari is crumbling before our eyes.
Things don't sound good for them, and I'm afraid they could lose Verstappen at the summer break. Any racing team on earth would gladly take him, so you know he could go do what he wants to do.
Total chaos that team is in right now, as we see a pair of Williams Lamborghini cars set to square off in the DRS zone. Joe ahead of Vesti, who is closing in quickly side by side as they will carry on into the heavy braking chicanes.
And they carry on through that chicane, and Vesti would get the best of Zhou Guan Yu. The rookie stays ahead here now, and you saw it all through the grid. We dropped down to second. I was hoping I could put more of a fight on Jackson, and I let him go to try and get him back with the DRS, but I failed miserably at the attempt. So, and now you can see he's about to put some pressure on Lando Norris. Albon, 2.5 seconds back, and then Piastri all the way nearly 7 seconds back. But Aiden Jackson has been unstoppable tonight. Nobody can really match what he's doing. He gets, of course, behind after the pit stop cycle, but he's still able to just pounce on it and make up the time and get to the lead of the Grand Prix, and now he's going to try and drive away. Once again, myself and Norris just don't seem to have the right strategy tonight, and you can see he's starting to struggle a little bit while Jackson's driving away, and we're starting to put some pressure on the back of the Mercedes. He kind of hops over that curbing right there, leaves himself a bit vulnerable. I'm trying to get the power down, and here we go. This is the opportunity we need. We'll swing to the right side with DRS assistance. We're going to be able to clear Norris. What can he do? Can he fight back, or is he going to continue to fade back towards Albon, who's still 2.5 seconds back behind us now as we continue on, as we actually get an exceeding track limits warning right there, but we continue on to lap 24, coming to 5 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and once again, kind of like last episode, it's been a good race for us, and we started P4, got up to P2 now, and I don't think Albon's going to get us, and Norris certainly won't because he's continuing to fade. He might actually fall back to Alex Albon, and how about Piastri's been closing in as well here, less than 6 seconds between himself and I at this point, but it's a repeat of last episode. We're running second place, and we're trying to run down Aiden Jackson, and it's not happening. It's quite simple. Looking at rebound drives, we haven't had a safety car in a couple of Grand Prix. Dragovic, after the mechanical issues last episode, didn't get the finish he deserved, and he, of course, took a grid penalty today with new components, and he's been having a decent rebound drive up into about P6 right now, battling with Lewis Hamilton, but Albon is going to get past Lando Norris coming to the final lap here of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. However, Norris is going to have the DRS here down that long bank straightaway, so it's certainly not over, and you're going to see as we start the final lap, coming to that bank straightaway, Norris, sure enough, is able to get back in front of Albon, and Albon's probably not going to be able to respond through the exit of the chicane down towards the hairpin. Piastri continues to run quicker, as now Jackson extends the gap to over 5 seconds. I was on cruise control on this final lap, knowing I couldn't catch him. Aiden Jackson wins again. 2 consecutive victories, 3 on the season. P2 for us, 3rd for Lando Norris. 3 different teams on the podium. A solid night for the team. A pretty calm race outside of the Verstappen drama. It just wasn't meant to be. Again, McLaren has found that pace that we cannot match as Felipe Drugovich, driver of the night.
They've done it then. A spectacular victory here in Abu Dhabi, and a massive confidence boost for the entire team, I'm sure. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
I think this Grand Prix was a good indicator of, why I decided to put it earlier in the season, because it's really not, often an eventful race, and that was certainly proven here tonight in Abu Dhabi. Not a whole lot went down there. So overall, I mean, still happy with what we did, P2, but at the same time, it's hard to be happy because, I am, convinced we will win the championship this season, but we're not going to when we're, running second, but we're still losing to the guy that's leading the championship, Aiden Jackson. But if we've learned anything about Aiden Jackson, is he knows how to choke. He knows how to fall off, and I am not too concerned about him going on a hot streak. I'd much rather him do it right now than later in the season. So Albon ends up P4. We'll take a look at the standings. Drugovich P6. Russell rebounds to 8th with his grid penalty. Jack New and Kelly Mayer, they're 10th and 11th, as those two might be battling for an open seat at Ferrari. There you see the standings. We remain P4. Jackson ahead by 24, 29, 35 separate, second, third, fourth there. As look at that, 14 points between the top 3 in the constructors. Things continue to get interesting. Next episode, we go home to Montreal, where we are going to go get win number 3. I'm confident of it. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day.